So here at TCU we have a tagline which is learning to change the world. And for me what that means is giving students opportunities for field experience, hands-on, immersive learning opportunities where you can get to grips with some of the very difficult ethical questions that we have. And one of those difficult questions is how to preserve our natural heritage, wildlife in general, and certain species like the rhino in particular. We take a group of students from campus from a variety of majors. This year we had majors from essentially all colleges on campus. We bring business students, environmental science students, biology students, people from Adran College, dance majors, sculptors, you name it.
So as we got there to South Africa and we were in Joburg and Cape Town, and I immediately started watching some of the people, especially when we went to the township in Soweto. Even from then on, I was just starting to think about differences in cultures and how movement is related to that. It was really cool to see some of the native dances of the Kosha tribe and just seeing how authentic they were.
We learn about so much more than wildlife on the trip. We spent a number of days in Johannesburg and in Cape Town just learning about the culture of South Africa and the history of South Africa. And then that was all kind of put together for us at the reserve. And we got to be hands-on with a lot of big wildlife that you don't ever see anywhere but South Africa. We helped change the tracking collar on an elephant. We got to help in a sort of emergency procedure for a cheetah. Some wildebeest relocation. We were part of a rhino dehorning. Through the situation that is poaching, we learned how connected the whole world is.
We were in South Africa to do a dehorning procedures for 3 or 4 rhinos. It's an important procedures to do, but we don't really have to go through all these procedures if there's no rhino consumption. As a business major, I find it's really fortunate for me to go on the trip because I don't really have to have any background on environmental science or biology, but I was just there to really understand the problem.
I know about this crisis before in Vietnam, but it never really occurred to me how it was a crisis, how urgent it was. After the trip, I realized that we all need to get on board and exploit whatever resources, whatever backgrounds, whatever we have to help fight this global crisis.
One of the major things I gained from this trip is credibility. And that's, to me, credibility is the experiences that help back up what you're saying. As a student, credibility is something that we don't necessarily get every day. It's something that you have to work hard for, and it's something that makes you accountable for the actions that are going on in the world and what you can do to change those things. So with this rhino crisis, having credibility was being on the ground, having that firsthand knowledge and experience of knowing what is happening to this species of animal. And that's what will give your word more weight, and it'll allow you to speak for those that don't have voices.
When you apply to college, you're already asking yourself, what do you want to be? What do you want your role to be in this world or here at this TCU campus? And the same goes for the trip. What do you want your role to be in this crisis? What do you want your role to be globally when people ask you, why did you go to South Africa? And I think it's important because there's so many aspects to this crisis. It's not just about saving the animals, it's about saving this country, saving its people. My major specifically prepared me for this trip because this crisis is something that's not very well known yet, and so I can take my experience with brainstorming or awareness or connecting with people not only in South Africa but as well as bringing it back here to the States.
The rhino poaching crisis is one that kind of speaks to me. I'm a big hunter back home, and so I take views of poaching. You know, it's a really horrible thing, and the crisis going on right now is just something that it's really hard to understand unless you're actually there on the ground. You know, I was fortunate enough to actually go to Africa, and knowing where rhinos are, knowing where they're poached, how we can take that data and use it to prevent that from happening. You know, does it happen within a certain distance from roads? Does it happen within a certain distance from rivers or bodies of water? You know, is there places in the fence that people aren't seeing or weak or are broken down that poachers are using and utilizing? And so I feel like my major definitely could apply to this crisis.
As a nursing major, I had
a background of knowing about pharmacology and medicine practices, and so to be able to take that and literally take it into the field and be able to do that with animals was really special. This whole experience has changed a lot of parts of me, not only with the way that I think about things, but the way that I interact with people. It was enlightening past my career as a nurse, but as who I am as a person.
One reason that I am in the degree field of kinesiology is that it's very health focused, helping people that can't really help themselves or don't have the resources to help themselves. And in South Africa, we were doing this, but not necessarily with people, but with animals. Traveling to South Africa expanded my comfort zone in a couple different ways. I became comfortable with people that I wouldn't have met on campus otherwise, and that was an amazing opportunity.
Really, above all, I mean, I've had a lot of opportunities at TCU academically and athletically, but this trip actually helped me fulfill my passion. I mean, as an avid wildlife enthusiast, I dream of animals each and every day. When I heard the opportunity to be able to go to South Africa and work with big game on a game reserve, it was literally it was basically a dream come true. Really eye-opening experience just to go see another country, to see poverty on another level that you've never seen it before. Honestly, it's changed my whole mental aspect. I don't take many things for granted now. It's good to go be a part of something bigger than yourself.
That's it. That's the
Go Rocks!